Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel True Crime and Trials, where I discuss true crime and trials, mostly trials because I just find them so fascinating. So I started the Jodi Arias trial, and the next prosecution witness is Detective Esteban Flores. Now we just seem to be deep diving into this case, going full on crime scene, everything. So Detective Esteban Flores was the lead case agent for Travis's case, and he says the investigation began the day after Travis's body was found because he needed to acquire a search warrant for the house and he couldn't get that till the day after. So the detective was told that night that somebody wanted to talk to him on the phone, and he was told that person was Jodi Arias. We don't know who contacted her, how she found out, but he didn't speak to her that night. She did call back again the next day. The detective was still at the scene, but this time he did talk to her and he recorded this phone call. And in part of this phone call, they discussed whether Travis had a gun or not. And this was what Jodi said.
His two fists, really. Yeah.
And Jodi says that Travis's weapons were his fists, and he liked to beat the crap out of a punching bag. So later on in this call, they do in fact discuss their dating life.
And we broke up and we continued actually to see each other for quite a bit. Right up until I moved.
So when did you get together at any time, or?
We were intimate, but I wouldn't say romantic as far as the relationship goes, but we were in no way headed toward marriage.
And she also mentions Travis's tyres being slashed. And then Jodi also talks about the trips they had planned to go on, and that also she had emailed him to see if she could stay at his house while he was away in Cancun, but she never received a reply. Then she talks about how he would get upset that she wasn't going out to see him, and Jodi tells him the reason why they broke up is because she thought he was cheating on her. They decided they couldn't trust each other, but they were both still attracted to each other, so they still hung out. So then the detective tells Jodi on the phone call that they are investigating Travis's death as a homicide, and Jodi then quite freely puts her thoughts across.
When they said suspicious death, I thought, well, she's trying to shed pounds for Cancun, so he looks good in boxers or a bathing suit or whatever, or swim trunks, and I know that he takes supplements.
Then the conversation moves on to the people that the detective has spoke to and what they have said about Jodi.
I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to make you feel bad, but they didn't have the best of things to say about you. They felt that you were either taking advantage of him.
And they also informed him that she was spying on his email, on his Facebook accounts. But Jodi says that Travis gave her his passwords to certain things, and she did the same to him. So they both had passwords for each other's accounts. And she says they did this to try and re-establish the trust between them, but it didn't really work, so they both changed their passwords. He then tells her that people that he had spoke to had pointed their fingers at Jodi straight away and told him that she probably had something to do with what had happened to Travis. Now, I'm presuming they all did this because of the stalker story that Travis had told them. So Jodi then puts a name forward herself that she thinks the police could maybe look into, and that is Thomas Brown, because Travis had kicked him out of his house because of his behaviour. She tells Detective Flores that he was a big guy but didn't come across as violent. So now the cross-examination, and he is shown photographs of the scene, and the first is a piece of fabric found in the bathroom, and the detective had asked Jodi about during the phone call, and this was found in Travis's room. And the next is the same picture but from a different angle. Then another photograph of another piece of fabric which looks like a piece of rope or tassel. Then the next is of all the exhibit markers showing the pieces of fabric and hair fibres. The rope or tassel fabric was also found in other places in Travis's home, and this piece was found on the stairs leading up to the bedroom even. The defence ends by asking the detective about the emails Travis had sent to Jodi, where this blew my mind. He called her a slut and a three-hole wonder, amongst other things. I did rewind that because I was like, what? And yeah, it's a three-hole wonder. So, redirect. So, Juan Martinez comes out fired up about the emails, to which he proceeds to hand the detective a copy of instant message emails between Travis and Jodi. Travis had said to her that he was nothing more than a dildo with a heartbeat to her, and these comments were all about the trust issues they had. Sounds very lovely. So now back onto the photographs of the fibres, and Juan is shows evidence photograph of Travis's bedroom, and more specifically the pillows or the cushions on the sofa, which have tassels around the edge, which Detective Flores says they look similar to the fibres in the previous evidence photograph that were found in Travis's bathroom. So next is a photograph of Travis's bedroom, and as you walk in through the main door, and then a photograph of a pair of sandals that are in the middle of his bedroom floor, and as you can see, there is a fluffy type of covering on the sandals. So Juan shows the evidence photograph shown earlier of the blood-covered fibres found on the bathroom floor, which he says, in his opinion, look like the fibres from the sandals. No rope was found in the bedroom. So something else happens which I've never seen before, where the jurors are allowed to ask questions. So I'm presuming that they write the questions down and the judge will ask, which I have never seen before in any trial I've watched, where the jury can ask questions mid-trial. So the recross, and it turns out that the fibres that were found were not tested against other fibres in the house. I mean, why? They are found throughout the home, especially the ones in the bathroom, covered in blood. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't test those. And he says they are unable to do this at the Mesa Crime Lab, and they didn't decide that they would outsource them to another crime lab. So his opinions of where the fibres may have possibly come from are just the detective's opinions. So it's in a trial, it is so frustrating when obvious evidence that obviously should be tested never gets tested. And I understand that they can't test absolutely everything, but that fibre that's found on the floor that's covered in blood, you'd think that out of everything would be tested, but it wasn't. So there we go. So that's the end of that witness. Yeah, I will see you in the next video. So until then, bye for now.